Hello guys, how you doing today? Good news, good news. I got a little something going on. So guys, let's get started. Right off the bat, we ain't gonna mess around. I went back and looked at another old interview. I know what you're thinking. That's old news. No, it's not. Because when you go back and listen to the stuff that was said really early on, a lot of it sticks out, man, because it doesn't make sense knowing what all we know now. And I know you guys are just like me. You've seen a lot. You start to pick up on stuff. So we're going to go back through one of Allyson's old interviews, and here's some stuff I thought stuck out a lot. Hold on. Okay. Yeah. Allyson says she's at the ball game when H calls and tells him about Summer. Correct? Correct. Well, practice, I think is what it was. But she was at the ball field with Leslie. Correct? Correct. Now, when he calls, she's like, man, I don't really want to talk to Candace. Like they're having a dispute, as we've been told. Correct? Correct. Well, earlier, when Candace had dropped H off, she says she invited Candace up to the porch to talk. So why, when Hunter was dropped off, were you cool with her coming into the house, or, well, on the porch, that might as well be into the house. But now, later on the same evening, you don't want to talk to her. I'm telling you, I am highly suspicious of this so-called feud that they said was going on. A lot, because there's a lot that points away from that being factual. Now, says when Hunter's trying to get a hold of her to tell her what's happened, her phone was dead, so she had to talk to Hunter on Leslie's phone, right? Well, later on in this interview, she says, when she went to call Candace, she's like, well, I turned my phone on and went to call Candace, that scenario. And I thought that seemed odd. Because to me, that insinuates possibly her phone was turned off, not that it was dead. And it makes me wonder if possibly she doesn't want her exact whereabouts at that time known. What do you do when you don't want somebody to be able to track you with your phone? You turn it off. So is that what she was doing? And is that another reason that TBI was so interested in Hunter's phone that they kept it for so long? I think possibly. Could be nothing. Could be she turned her phone on after she had charged it and called Candace. Might be nothing. But might be something, because maybe her phone was turned off instead of dead. It's just a theory. Just a theory. Allyson says that she moved down there from New York 10 years earlier. That she'd been there about 10 years. And all them suspicious visitors that showed up down there were from New York. Is there a bigger tie between Allie and those people than we know? Because I know I am highly suspicious of that many people coming down there and then leaving a day later. Except one, which was a straggler, but still, that's really suspicious to me. Chris asked what their thoughts, and this is all three on the porch. There's that one woman's always with Allie. I can't think of her name, and Leslie and Allie. They're all three on the porch. And he asks about what their thoughts were that night that Summer disappeared, as to what could have happened. And he bleeps out every answer they give. And I'm telling you, when Chris is cutting or bleeping stuff out, There's a reason for it. And it's not just for editing. There's a reason for that. Whatever one of them said, he thought was probably something that shouldn't be put out. I think for sure. He asked the three of them what they thought about, that it was a stranger that came in and did it. All three of them are completely against that. They talk about these dogs like you would normally think dogs would act. They say when you go up, they meet you at the bottom of the hill, and if they didn't know you, they'd show you teeth, growl, bark, and all that stuff, that they were pretty aggressive. And I would expect that more than, they act like the dogs just didn't acknowledge you. Because, like I've said before, my dog still barks at the mailman. She's seen him a million times. So I always have said I didn't think there was any way every one of those dogs were gone. And I didn't think there was any way there'd be a stranger there and one of them wouldn't have alerted. That's my theory. That's my thoughts and my opinion. I think all that is really, really questionable. Talks about after TBI had told H him and Candace should not be in contact, these multiple occasions that Candace had contacted H, said at work and some other times. Now, a lot of people think that was over the twisted tea and the vapes. She didn't want him telling them about that. I don't think so. I think it's bigger than that. Because if all it was the vapes that she had to worry about with H, would she keep going against TBI and the FBI's wishes by contacting him? No. Absolutely not. Not if it was just risking a contributing to the delinquency ticket. No. I think there's more to that. And like I said just a little earlier, I think that's why they're so interested in H's phone. Now that I've been back through this, I really think that day something happened, and there's a good chance H either knows or there's a chance he doesn't realize he knows something. Either way, I really think it's suspicious that she kept contacting him against FBI and TBI's wishes if the only thing she had to worry about was the tea and the vapes. And another thing I thought was interesting was Chris's extreme interest in the vape packaging. Chris was really interested in the color and different things about the vapes. Now, I'm going to go back through that video of the drive home when Summer's on the milk jugs, because I think there's something that Chris has spotted in that he's really questioning something about it. Because I think he really seems super interested, and y'all can watch it too. He's really interested about the packaging, what color it is, and all that stuff. That's leading him somewhere. And I wanted to say, and I didn't realize this, but Allyson says that Summer was leaning on the milk jugs when they got there. Now, if H had him in his lap, right, and he had moved him over when he got out, it doesn't seem like she'd be leaning on him already and asleep to me. Because if you think about it, between the time they got there, Allyson said that she was there 5 or 10 minutes. And then the point where the video was supposed to be taken, which I understood was close to home, there's a good 20 minutes at least that they're saying that she laid on them milk jugs like that. driving and all that. I don't know about that, man. That seems like a long time. And it makes you think, if Allyson's seen her leaning on them milk jugs like that, how much sense does his story make of taking them off his lap, setting them over, and all that? Did she, as soon as he set him over, did she immediately start leaning on him? Because I think he says she was asleep when they got home. I think he said he wasn't positive. Either way, that makes you think that she had been leaning on these milk jugs at least 20 minutes when that video was taken. And I find that highly suspicious. And the last thing, they talk about Rose a little bit. And they're talking about it, and all of a sudden we start getting the bleeping again, the beep, covering it up, whatever they're saying. Is there something that they said about that Chris thought was very interesting? I'm thinking there was, because these ain't like covering up one word bleeps. These are covering up whole statement bleeps. And I think you add all that together, man, there is something that is starting to make me think something happened that day before she even got home. Now, every theory we come up with, I can poke a hole in it some way or another, but all that, man, the being on the milk jugs that long, the questionable thing about my phone's dead, but I went to call Cass, I turned it on. Now, like I said, that could have just been turned it on after charging, but watch it yourself, see what you think. I don't know, I thought it was really interesting, all that. And, when we can get stuff that comes straight out of people's mouths, we're not going on speculation and rumor. I think that's the way we figure this out. Let me know what you guys think. As usual, comment below. Tell me I totally agree with you, or I think you're crazy and you make no sense. Let me know.